Let there be light!
Light streamed in, warming the earth and the heavens. God saw that this light was good.
I should call the light day and the darkness night.
On the morning of the second day, God said,
Let there be a dome in the middle of the waters. I shall call this the sky.
On the next day,
Let the waters be gathered together and let the dry land appear. I shall call this dry land the earth and the waters the sea.
On the fourth day, God said,
Let there be light in the heavens to separate the nights from the days into weeks and the seasons into years. There shall be two lights, a greater and a lesser. I shall set them up into the sky to be the sun and the moon. I shall also create the stars to be behind the moon.
The sun rose on the fifth day.
The earth bring forth living creatures in the air and the sea and on dry land.
Creatures of all shapes and sizes began to fill the earth, and God blessed them by saying,
Be fruitful and multiply, fill the waters and the skies and the land.
On the morning of the sixth day, God created man in his image and called him Adam. From one of Adam's ribs, he created the first woman. She was called Eve and was given to Adam to be his mate.
Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth with your offspring and rule over the land and all of its creatures. Every plant that bears fruit and every creature on this earth is made for you.
On the evening of the sixth day, God had finished with the creation of the earth. On the seventh day, God rested after all the work he had done. He blessed this day and called on all his creations to rest on the seventh day of every week. The earth he created was a paradise, where Adam and Eve and all other God creations lived in perfect harmony. This was the Garden of Eden. In the center of the garden, God planted a large apple tree. He said to Adam and Eve,
All of what you see is yours, but I forbid you to eat the fruits of this apple tree. Promise me that you will never touch them.
Adam and Eve promised quickly and didn't think about it again. Until one day, when Eve was alone, a snake came to her and spoke.
Why don't you eat one of those apples?
Oh, most certainly not. God ordered us not to touch any of those apples ever.
But you realize that those apples give whoever eats them great wisdom and knowledge. Surely God would want his creation to have this.
The snake went on and on until Eve could no longer resist. She took a bite out of one of the apples and gave one to Adam, who also ate. Suddenly, Adam and Eve possessed great wisdom and knowledge, just as the snake said they would. They immediately realized that they were naked. This made them ashamed, and they quickly covered themselves with leaves. God came to them later that day. He noticed that they were no longer naked.
You're eating the fruit I forbid you to eat.
It was Eve. She gave me the fruit to eat. It was the snake. He tempted me so I couldn't resist. God was furious. He sent them out of the Garden of Eden forever and cursed them as they were leaving.
Adam, because you allowed yourself to be tempted by Eve, you and all the men after you shall be punished by having to toil and suffer to life. The earth will yield her fruits to you only by hard and painful work. Eve, because you allowed yourself to be tempted by the snake, you and all of the women after you shall be punished by having to bear children in great pain. You shall be the servant of your man. Snake, because of your wicked act, you shall be punished by having to spend your life on your belly, and you and your offspring will be hated by men.
And so, Adam and Eve were banished from the Garden of Eden forever. Thus their lives were harder, but they were wiser than all other animals to this day because of the apple that they ate.